Am I the butthole for ruining a child's life? Today, I started talking to an American mother while in A&E. Her child was interested in the artwork I have on my leather jacket as it's pretty colorful. The mother mentioned that her daughter's name was Grain, so I assumed for a while that she was another mother who wanted something special to call her child. I remarked that it was a unique name and that I'd never met anyone called Grain before. She told me that she's named after her great-grandmother and that it's an Irish name. At this point, the alarm bells are ringing in my head because I've realized that the kid is called GRN, generally pronounced as grown you, or thereabouts. I try to be very tactful, and I was like, Irish has such an interesting alphabet. How is her name spelled? Irish names can be tricky. The kid is called GRN, not Grain. My partner, who has studied Ireland's political history as part of their dissertation and also the Irish diaspora and its culture around their university city, is stuck somewhere between stifling a laugh and dying of embarrassment on her behalf, so I come up with what I thought was a very positive reply. I said, an old school name and a more modern pronunciation. I think that's a great way to pick names. I would like to point out that I do not like the name Grain for a child, nor do I like the way the pronunciation was butchered, but I was trying to be tactful and positive. She asked what I meant, and I said, well, in Ireland, they typically pronounce it like grown you. Her face went red and said that I shouldn't have said that the pronunciation was wrong in front of the kid because now she's going to grow up knowing that her name is wrong and feel bad about it. I apologized for causing offense and restated that it's a lovely name in both ways and a fantastic nod to her heritage. I said that I'm sure her great-grandmother would be thrilled to be honored by her name being used. I was throwing out just about every positive reinforcement that I could think of, but, to be frank, she was pissed off. She told me that I ruined her daughter's self-esteem, and that her life ruined by me saying that her existence is wrong. I didn't say that, by the way. I said that her name was pronounced atypically. GRN, for context, was around 2 years old and completely unbothered by the conversation until her mother got angry at me. She was just looking at the pictures on my jacket. The conversation was maybe 5 minutes long, but I managed to ruin this kid's life. Hindsight says I should have kept my mouth shut and waited for somebody else in this city to say something. So, am I the butthole? Edit. Spelling and syntax. Edit 2. Some people have assumed that we're in the USA. We're in the UK, in a city with lots of Irish people, an Irish center, and a great Irish folk scene. Am I the butthole for bringing my daughter to a child-free wedding? Hi everyone. I'm a 19-years-old mom to my beautiful 2-year-old daughter, Amelia. Just a bit of backstory. Last year, I was asked to be a bridesmaid in a family friend's wedding. I was thrilled and immediately said yes, even though it was a child-free event. I had arranged for a babysitter, but about a week before the wedding, she informed me that she would no longer be in the city and couldn't watch my daughter. Given the short notice, I approached the bride and asked if I could bring Amelia to the wedding, as I didn't have time to find another trusted babysitter. My daughter is overall a very easygoing baby. She's comfortable with people and happy as long as she's fed. The bride knew this since she watched my daughter on multiple occasions before, and she happily agreed, saying that having Amelia there would make the wedding photos even more special. The wedding was going smoothly, though I noticed a few stares from the groom's parents. Amelia stayed with my sisters for most of the day, but during the reception, I took her with me to congratulate the couple. As I approached with Amelia in my arms, the groom's mother suddenly commented, "You shouldn't have brought a baby to a child-free wedding, especially when she doesn't fit the family." I was completely taken aback. For context, my daughter is mixed. I'm half white and half Hispanic, and her father is black. I've been called whitewashed because I'm not in contact with my Hispanic family, so I knew exactly what she meant by saying my daughter didn't fit the family. The bride looked shocked, and the groom immediately stood up and led his parents away. Taking this as my cue, I decided it was time to leave. I made the rounds to say goodbye to everyone and put Amelia in her stroller. As I was leaving, the bride came over to apologize for her in-laws' behavior. I was upset, but I knew it wasn't her fault, so I simply wished her luck and left. Now, about a week after the wedding, I got tagged in a Facebook post. Strange, because I don't use Facebook. The post read, "I'm outraged that my grandchildren weren't allowed at this event, but when a teen mother who couldn't be responsible enough to leave her child with the father brings her baby, It's perfectly fine. The post was from the groom's mother. To make things worse, she's also been telling family members that I'm lying about what she said regarding my daughter's appearance. So now I'm wondering, am I the butthole? Am I the butthole for telling my friend I won't be inviting her out anymore? So my BF tells me I'm not the butthole, but I feel like I may be. So I F23 have a friend I'll call Mary who's 22. She and I worked together and became friends. Well, this past Saturday, I invited her out with my friend group to go to a local amusement park that goes all out for Halloween. Mary asks if she can bring her kids a 5-year-old boy and an 18-month-old girl. Everyone involved tells her it's really not a good idea as this park and its haunted attractions are not geared towards children, and we're planning on being there until it closes, which is midnight. She seems to accept this, but asks repeatedly throughout the week leading up to Saturday, and she is again told no. Well, Saturday arrived, and as you can guess, she brought her kids. Other people in our group asked her why, and she just shrugged, saying she thought the kids would have fun. They didn't. Her son got scared within about 10 minutes of us getting into the park and began to cry, begging to go home, to which Mary tells him to calm down and he'll have fun eventually. We get in line for the first haunted house, and her son again starts to cry, saying he doesn't want to go into the house. Mary then asks myself if I'll stay and watch her son and daughter so she can go into the haunted house. I tell her no, and that this is why we told her not to bring her kids. She gets upset and drags her very scared child through the haunted house. He had a meltdown and had to be carried out. This repeats through every single haunted house we attempted to go through. Around 11:30, my boyfriend pulls me aside and tells me that he can't take any more of the screaming/crying, and we try to break off to find a place to calm down. Mary sees this and leaves her son and daughter with us while she runs off to go on a ride. Her son gets scared by an actor chasing people with a chainsaw and has an epic meltdown. I'm doing the best I can to console him, but I am rapidly running out of patience. Finally, his mom comes back and I all but shove her son back into her arms. I tell Mary that my BF and I were leaving along with the rest of our group. She gets huffy but agreed. We leave the park and go to Waffle House for dinner. At this point, it's midnight and both kids are extremely tired and upset. They cry all through dinner, and Mary did nothing to calm them down. Finally, at the end of my rope, once we get out of the restaurant, I lose my temper. I tell Mary that this is why she was told not to bring her kids to this event, and that I will not be inviting her back out again if she can't follow the rules of the group. Mary got upset and has since blocked me and the other people who agreed with me. No one in the group agreed with Mary, but they all did say that I didn't need to say anything about it to her, and I didn't need to tell her I wasn't inviting her out again. AITA. Am I the butthole for refusing to give up my car to my brother after he wrecked his, even though my parents are mad at me for it? I, 19F, recently bought my first car, a used but reliable one that I've been saving up for since I got my part-time job at 16. I worked hard, saved, and finally, a few months ago, I got the car I've been dreaming of. It's not fancy, but it's mine, and it gives me independence. I use it to get to work and school, and it's made my life so much easier. Here's the issue. My brother, 22M, wrecked his car a few weeks ago. He wasn't hurt, thankfully, but the accident was his fault. He was speeding. He's been without a car since then, and now my parents are insisting I give him mine temporarily until he can save up to fix his. My brother works a job that requires a lot of driving, while I mostly stay local, so my parents think it makes more sense for him to use my car for a while. I said no. I've worked hard for this car, and I need it for my own stuff, school, work, and just living my life. It's also really important for my mental health because it's my only source of independence. But my parents keep pressuring me, saying that I'm being selfish and that family should help each other out. My brother hasn't said much directly to me, but he's clearly annoyed and has been giving me the cold shoulder. Now my parents are really upset, calling me immature and saying I'm not being a team player. They've even hinted that they might stop helping me with other things, like insurance payments, if I don't help out. I get that my brother is in a tough spot, but I also feel like it's unfair for me to just give up something I worked so hard for, especially when the situation was entirely his fault. Am I the butthole for refusing to let my brother use my car, even though my parents are mad and think I'm being unreasonable? Should I just suck it up and let him use it for the sake of family harmony, or am I right to stand my ground on this? Am I the butthole for refusing to be my mom's emotional support at family events after she ruined my graduation party? I, 18F, just graduated high school in June, and my mom, 42F, threw me a party to celebrate. Now, my mom has always had a rocky relationship with her side of the family, especially with her sister, my aunt, 45F. They don't get along, and every family gathering somehow turns into drama. My mom always drags me into it, making me her buffer or emotional support when things get tense. At my graduation party, I just wanted to have fun and celebrate, but my mom spent the entire time gossiping to me about my aunt and how she looked bored or jealous the whole time. It got to the point where my mom pulled me aside multiple times to vent, instead of letting me hang out with my friends or enjoy the party. She was constantly on edge, worried about what my aunt would say or do, and honestly, it ruined the entire vibe for me. Fast forward to now. We have another family event coming up, and my mom expects me to be her support again. She even told me, "You know how these things go, I need you there." I flat out refused this time and told her I'm not getting involved in her drama anymore, and that I just want to enjoy family events without being stuck in the middle of her issues with her sister. She got upset and said I'm being selfish and ungrateful because she threw me a graduation party, which she basically ruined for me. Now she's not talking to me, and my aunt even texted me saying I should cut my mom some slack because she's going through a lot. I get that, but I'm tired of being stuck in the middle of adult drama that has nothing to do with me. Am I the butthole for refusing to be my mom's emotional support at family events, even though she's upset and feels like I'm abandoning her? Or should I just suck it up for the sake of family peace? Am I the butthole for telling my half-brothers their dad cheated on their mom and had me as a result, despite them living their entire lives in blissful ignorance? My F18, mom F46, had an affair with her married boss, D M56, who had a young child. The affair lasted 6 months, then my mom got pregnant and told D. The affair ended, and D confessed to his wife, who stayed with him. They arranged private child support, and D paid more than required until I finished school. Didn't want to be involved, and mom was fine with it. She raised me until I was 3, then met my stepdad, who became my father figure. They married when I was 6 and had 2 kids. Over time, mom told me more about D. At first, she said he left because he didn't love her, then later revealed that D was married, and it was easier for him not to be in my life. By 10 or 11, I learned I had 2 half-brothers who had no idea about me or the affair. Eventually, I met D at 12 and realized I didn't like him or feel I missed out since I had an amazing stepdad. As I got older, I found out more about my half-brother J, M21, through social media. We've been in the same place before, but he has no idea who I am. The curiosity and pain of knowing about my brothers comes and goes. This weekend, I saw Jay close up for the first time at the pub where I work. He started to speak to me, and I just couldn't get any words out. I panicked and left, later having a panic attack. Since then, I've been feeling stressed and emotional. Mom says not to let it bother me, that I have a loving family and don't need anything from D's side. While true, I can't help how I feel. I've kept this secret for 8 years, protecting their happiness at the expense of mine. I'm torn about telling my brothers. They have no idea about me, and I don't want to ruin their happiness. But keeping this secret is affecting my mental health. Telling them might bring me closure. Jay is an adult, and it should be his decision, but the younger brother is 17 and will be 18 soon. So I wonder if it's right to tell them, even though I don't want to hurt anyone. Edit. Due to some confusion in the comments, my mom and D have had regular contact throughout my life, and I would go through D if I decided I wanted them to know, and I would want him and wife to be the ones to tell them. This isn't something I would do lightheartedly or behind his back. Edit 2. For many people asking why I feel the need to tell them, I don't know how I can continue to pretend I don't know who they are when I am having to come face to face with them. I never truly considered it before because we led completely different lives. But as Jay is now coming into my place of work where I cannot avoid him or expect when he is coming, I'm struggling with the idea of having to talk to him while knowing who he is, and unfortunately, it does bring up painful emotions to see him, which I know is not his fault. If anything, if they were aware of who I was, they may avoid me altogether and I wouldn't have to face them at all, which would be an improvement. It's the close proximity that I am finding difficult. He is also a close friend of my cousin's new boyfriend, Again, this feels too close for comfort. And I definitely wouldn't expect any kind of relationship with them. I understand this is an insane thing to learn, and they are more than likely to dislike me/not want to know me.